Hello, and welcome to another episode of Exponential Potential. My name's Claire Oatway, and today we're having a conversation with the gorgeous Jennifer Evans, aka Zen Jen. And this month we have been covering playfulness and joy, and Jen's going to be bringing some of her expertise around how do you create this, what are the playful pathways and strategies that we can take for a joyful existence. i'm I'm loving this topic this month, Jen.
Yeah, I am too, because I think it's a really good reminder. It's a really good reminder for me, certainly. And I do infuse my days with joy and play, but sometimes I forget. And when I forget, I get hit over the head with a 2x4 that takes me out. And so I am reminded quite frequently if I forget, or if I'm not playing, I am reminded, because it affects my well-being hugely. And it's just a reminder, like, oh yeah, I know I didn't do that today, or I've forgotten myself.
so
Ultimately,
throughout this month we've been looking at different aspects of joy and playful, and today we are really deep diving into what's key when it comes to creating more joy. Why do we block our joy? Why do we do that? How do we play more? And kind of just those little practical things, so we don't have to have a whole month dedicated to joy in order to experience joy. So that, what can we do on a day-to-day basis? So if that sounds like fun, which it does sound like fun, let's dive on in. so so Jen, for you, kind of what's key when it comes to creating more joy in your life?
lots of things come to mind because there's many things that you can incorporate. But one of the things I find people doing, I find a lot of clients doing, is they look outside themselves for happiness and joy. So they look to other people and other situations to bring them joy, to bring them happiness. Um, so what's key is to become aware of the things that take you out of joy, as well as the things that bring you joy. Because initially it's the things that take you out. And there's many things which we'll talk about in a minute with, around blocking our happiness. But the key is awareness. What is it that brings you joy in your life? And what is it that doesn't bring you joy? Or who doesn't bring you joy? So stop looking outside of yourself. I mean, we hear it all the time, true happiness, that deep happiness. And I feel joy is the deeper version of happiness. Joy for me is what makes my heart and soul sing. Happiness is good, but it's more surface. But deep joy, it comes from within. And when we talk about when it comes from within, it's coming from who you truly are and what truly makes your heart sing and nourishes your soul. So stop looking outside of yourself. Stop waiting for life to happen, to change. Stop waiting for situations to be different. I mean, even through COVID, I found joy every single day. And we live, for a lot of you know that I live in Italy, so we were fortunate in terms of our view, but we weren't even allowed to go out for a walk with our dogs. We were only allowed to go 1,000 meters from our home for 5 months, 6 months. I can't remember how many, but it dragged on and it was tough. It really affected our well-being because we couldn't walk every day, but we had to find ways of bringing in more joy. And so you have to be imaginative sometimes. curious, and yeah, stop waiting for things to change because you're in control of that.
Mm.
And the other one I always talk about is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Do you want to prove yourself or do you want to be happy? Do you want to get things perfect or do you want to be happy? So making that joy and that happiness more important than anything else, because life is so precious and short. I mean, we were saying the other day, we're already in April of 2024.
Yeah.
So making that choice to make joy a priority
Yeah.
and not just oh, well, I'll do that when I have time. Making a choice to make the time.
Yeah, and also when you create joy for yourself, you create joy for others, and when others are joyful around you, it creates joy for you. And so it's
Yeah,
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 rationally,
yeah,
it's
it is.
all
It's that,
there.
yeah, it's that circle where, we we get more when whatever we put out is whatever comes back to us. So where we focus our attention, so that the awareness aspect as well is, where are you putting your attention and your focus? And we did a wonderful episode at the beginning, and that was about noticing the driftwood in life, which is noticing the things around you that are beautiful. Because when you notice beauty, it's a sense, you get a sense of warmth and joy.
Yep.
So awareness is really key in terms of noticing the little things that bring you joy.
So why do we get in our own way? What patterns do you see happen very often? What behaviours do we use to block our joy?
Mm. And again, this is creating awareness around your personal behaviors and patterns that self-sabotage our joy and our happiness. So when we think about it, one of the things that I hear a lot of people saying is, oh, I like to make others happy. I want to please everybody because it makes me happy. And actually, it can for a while, but then that people pleasing becomes a bit of a ball and chain. It can become heavy, and then you become, you feel obligated. So watch out for that people pleasing element, and that goes to wanting everybody to like you, which is, not everybody does like you, even if you're the nicest, most wonderful, loving, kind, compassionate person in the world. Not everybody will like that person, because it will trigger them in ways, because they're like, oh, well, why are they so happy? Why are they so loving? There's got to be something wrong, so being aware of your behaviors. So people pleasing will create heaviness and obligation, feelings of obligation, and not taking time out for you to please yourself. Procrastination. The more we procrastinate, we know we want to do something, or there's something that we want to do to help move us forward, that we know is going to serve us, but we procrastinate. So then that brings us the opposite of joy. That brings us frustration and discomfort and anxiety, even. And the lack of self-expression, so not expressing yourself fully, will block that, because you then also, there's frustration and anxiety, and stress about not being able to express what you feel, or express yourself in the way you want to be, you feel expressed. Judgment, judging you, judging others, striving for perfection, the self-doubt, not feeling good enough. All those things will squash our joy. And then some of the things that we don't always think about is have actually lack of clarity. not making a decision, and being aware of where we spend our time and with who we spend our time. Right? Watching the news, that's a sure thing to bring you down and to block your joy, to be sucked into all the world's problems. I felt you were going to say something then, Claire, around.
Well, there are so many elements in that are worries that we have about things that may or may not be real.
Yeah.
So they're quite invisible chains that hold us back, and until we test them, we don't know if they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And as you say, they're very hidden.
yeah. And in relationships, I mean, even long-term relationships, you worry that the other person won't love you or accept you, and rationally, the fact that you're still in a long-term relationship suggests that there's some bond and connection there. So why not open up and be you? Yeah, that really surprised me around that self-expression piece.
Mm. Yeah, and you make a valid point in terms of one of the keys actually to being happy or joyful. Joyful is being you. And we did a whole theme. In January was dedicated about to being you, because authenticity and that self-expression allows you to be more at ease with yourself. It allows you to be who you are. And the more you are authentic in expressing who you are, the more ease and joy you will create. And you will also attract those like-minded people into your life, instead of trying to fit in other groups where you're trying to fit around, peg into a square hole. But the more you are you, and the more authentic you are, the more you can express yourself from a place of love and kindness and compassion if you're expressing yourself verbally. But the more you can do that, the more you will find inner peace, which will bring you joy. So that's when we say about, true joy is from within. And the first place to start is self-reflection and looking at who you truly are, what is your true essence. And your true essence is that place of being a being of love and light and kindness and compassion, and not the judgments and the fears and the worries and the doubts that we learn through our journey into this world and growing up.
So so how do we start to reverse that then? How do we play more in life?
And before we go on to that question, sorry, Claire, I just want to go back to, so all of those things that we just spoken about procrastination, lack of self-expression, self-doubt, not feeling enough, comparison is another one. All of that creates stress, overwhelm, anxiety, frustration. So it has a massive impact on our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health. So it's not just about being joyful, because that's beautiful and lovely, and who doesn't want more joy in their life, but it also directly affects and impacts our well-being and our health. So it's not just about, well, I don't have time to be joyful, I'm too busy. I help my clients make that time and carve out time and look at where their time leaks are. But it's about your well-being as well, making your personal well-being your priority. So I just wanted to touch on that.
So the other angle, just before we move on, is around the not the staleness, but the comfort zone. Sometimes the comfort zone can keep you trapped there. And how many of us come home of an evening, cook tea, and then plonk in front of the settee and then watch a couple of hours of Netflix, and then another week rolls by, and then another week rolls by. So sometimes you can get caught in a you just feel comfortable, you feel like you're winding down, but you're not actively seeking joy in that time.
No, you can be if you're watching something that you really do enjoy watching that brings you joy. I mean, one of the things, myself, me and Dom, we do enjoy watching, relaxing in the evening, and we have different ways of doing that. We play games, we play backgammon, we play bananagrams. We do lots of different. We sit on the balcony or the terrace if it's a nice evening, but there are times where I just want to relax on the couch and be comfortable. But the shows that we choose to watch will bring us joy. Like we don't ever watch TV. I don't think anyone ever watches TV at the moment anymore. I don't know. I just can't. The adverts just, oh my god, they're so mind numbing. But we ensure we watch shows that we really really enjoy watching. Like, Is It Cake? Love that show, and we physically laugh together. But there is a point where you're just mindlessly watching TV or something on TV. So it is important to be active and engaged in your environment. And there's other things that we do, play music or listen to music, as well. So yeah, there is a balance between that. And certainly, our oh, you can't see that, our phones, that's my phone cover, that's even very pretty phone cover. But even just staring mindlessly at social media or the news, or it's being mindful and aware of where and who you're spending your time with. I think that is really key in terms of finding joy. So how do we play more in life? How do we create play more in life? One thing I think helps is to be physical about it, because our minds are wired into the way that you've been for years, months, years, whatever. So you need to change those neuro pathways that are literally wired in to go in a different direction. So one of the things is, through one really easy, simple thing to do, is to express yourself through what you wear. And I know we've spoken about this before. So wear something you wouldn't usually wear. I dare you to wear something you wouldn't usually wear. Wear crazy glasses, or I've got a very playful piece of jewelry on today, which is a ladybird. Bright, colourful clothes. Stop wearing black and grey. If you feel it's, some people love wearing black, and I occasionally wear black and grey. But infuse some colour into your life through a scarf, or a bright top, whatever it might be. Change your hair. You were going to,
Yeah, red shoes. Red shoes.
Yeah.
They're definitely all the rage in Paris at the moment. So
Are they?
yeah.
Red
Again,
shoes.
kind of,
Yeah.
Paris is sort of like traditionally the monochrome of uniform, really, isn't it? Always black and white. And kind of you're seeing more and more of these pops of colour coming through in a red lip or a red shoe. And it's just like here's something a little bit different, break it up.
It's interesting, actually, you say that. Italian fashion is always, for younger women, is really bright. So at the
Yes.
moment it's bright greens and bright pinks, and it's gorgeous, all bright blues. But interestingly, the older generation are, with whether they're a widow or not, they wear really dark colours, blacks and greys and dark navies. They usually got a pinny on as well. And they're out in the field with a scarf, but they usually, they're not into fashion, but they wear darker clothes and they look miserable. They really do look miserable. I mean, I don't know whether they just sort of scowl at you sometimes. But wearing bright colours, wearing something, whether it's a top or a scarf or a necklace or a pair of earrings or odd socks,
Yeah.
a scarf around your head, it will create more play. It will in sort of help you feel inspired to feel more playful. It will have an impact so that you do feel more playful. It ignites, that was the word I was looking for. It ignites your playfulness by changing your external appearance. So that's a simple thing to do, really simple. Anybody can do that. The other thing is to stop being so serious. There are times to be serious, but most of the time, depending on where you work, when we had an amazing conversation with Claire last week around playfulness in leadership and the benefits and the impact of that. So there are times where there's a place for playfulness in the workplace, but in our lives, for most of the time, we are, we're so serious. Stop being so serious. Just stop. Stop it. Stop it. And I know that's easier said than done, but how do you do that? How do you stop being so serious? So you allow yourself to be more creative. You explore. You come from that place of curiosity. You start behaving, or watch how a child behaves. Watch how a 3-year-old engages in life, or a 4-year-old, or an 8-year-old, or any child that's playful. And unfortunately, some children aren't playful at 8 years old because they're already worrying, which is quite sad. But for the most part, watch how children interact with life and play. And they always come from a place of curiosity and learning and exploring and touching and feeling. Well, what does this do? Oh, I wonder if I did that, what would happen?
Yeah. And spontaneity as well. So kind of not being caught in the decision process. And I think, was it Mel Robbins had said like a 5-second rule? You've got 5 seconds. If you're going to do it, do it. If you're not, stop talking about it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a really good get up and go. And actually, that's a really good tool to use in your business as well. When you're pushing yourself outside of your limits, when you're elevating and taking something to the next level, it's changing your mindset. And it's a brilliant book, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you say in your head, you say it out loud. After I finish 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to do it. And you just do it. And she did that. She was able to pull herself out of anxiety and depression from being in bed each morning from a simple, right, I've got to get out of bed, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And that's how she did it. Just using that really simple technique. So that's a really useful tool. It's so funny you bring that up, Claire, because that was actually something I was going to talk about.
So find a playmate, somebody that you just be silly with, because you find that you sync up beautifully.
Yeah, and that was absolutely when you express yourself and be bold, you will attract playmates, and it creates a more comfortable environment to be playful, so that you don't feel like you're maybe a weirdo or a bit odd. Because sometimes it does feel like that because there's so many people around you being serious. However, your playfulness has an impact on those around you, and it gives other people permission because they see how much you're creating joy and you're laughing. Laughter is a big thing around playfulness. So humor. Watch things that are humorous, be silly. Have a dance party in your kitchen. Have a dance and play around with your partner. Because you don't have to be the only one that's being playful, but engage other people. Be engaged in your children's play. And if you don't have children or a partner, you be playful. When Dom's at work or he's down in the workshop, I'm playful in my kitchen. I put my music on and I'm cooking or doing something, but I'm playing as I'm doing it. So, yes, it's lovely to have space where you just do that. But sometimes if you're doing, I don't know, if you're doing something like cooking or doing the dishes, loading the dishwasher or anything like that, put some music on and dance to it, sing to it. That will help you start to connect with your playfulness and that inner child that's within all of us. and start noticing the little things that do bring you joy, and journal. Something that I help my clients do is sit down, create space. We need space. So give yourself permission to create some space and write down the things that bring you joy, the people that bring you joy. And I'm not relying on those people to help you feel joyful. Then you're not, that's not your only source of joy. But who is it that lights you up, that lifts you up, that makes you laugh? And be around them. Spend less time or no time with people that do the opposite, that bring you down, that drain you, that are always talking negatively. Either, and sometimes we can't, because they're family. So just reduce the time a little bit with them, or change the conversation to something lighter.
Or take them to the cinema.
Sounds like
To
you've
see a
done that,
funny
Claire.
film. You get
Yeah,
like a gold star if you see a funny film as well.
yeah, yeah. That's brilliant. That's really good. So yeah, that's how you play more in life, or in a general way, and
Um,
connecting back to what's important for you. Do you want to be miserable and focus on the negative and be frustrated, unhappy, fed up?
and
Or
and it doesn't deny anything that's going on outside in the world, because the world is a big scary place at the moment, and I don't want to diminish climate anxiety or conflict, or the struggles that many people are going through, but actually they're still there. You can still be happy in that place, or you can be miserable in that place. That doesn't change whether or not those factors are still there. So
mm,
you're here, you have the power to make that shift.
yes, and if you're relying on other people to make you happy, then they'll also have an impact. They'll have more of an impact on you to make you sad,
Mm.
to bring you down. So that's why it's important not to rely fully on others to bring you your joy, because your joy, only you are responsible for your joy, and only you can really connect with that joy. So yeah, that's important, not to, when you rely on other people to bring you joy, then you're relying on them then they have ease and an impact on you to upset you very quickly and very easily.
That's a really good way of looking at it. And when you think about children, for example, you feel like your job's to make them happy, and I'll be happy when they're happy. And what you're actually saying is, child, it's your job to make me happy. That's not fair. It's not fair. It kind of denies everything that they were born to be and to do, and it's not a reasonable expectation at all. But you don't realize in the moment, you don't realize that that's effectively what you're doing.
Mm, yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
So on a day-to-day basis, what are the little what are your kind of 3 or 4 favorite things to recommend to bring more joy?
I think you need a system. You need a practice. And I can hear people go, no, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to add to my day. But again, it goes back to what's more important to you. So I have a morning practice. I do resets through the day, and I have an evening practice. I don't do it every day. I'll be really honest, transparent. I don't do it every day. But when when I don't do it, that's when I get a kick up the backside if I miss
Mm.
too many days. But the things that I do, so I get up a little bit earlier than I would normally. I used to be the one that would hit my alarm button constantly and leave it to the very last second before I had to get up, and then it'd be rush, rush, rush like a mental loon, and that's no way to start your day, really. Do you
No.
want to rush around, feel stressed, feel pressured, forget your keys, forget your phone, run around like a headless chicken trying to, get to work or get the kids to school or whatever it might be? Or do you want some space and get up that bit earlier? even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier, and take time to sit with your day, take time to do some gratitude, a little gratitude ritual, maybe some form of meditation, breathing, movement in your body, whatever it is that feels good for you. Just sitting, looking out the window, or sitting outside and savoring a lovely cup of tea, and set up how you want to be through your day.
Mm.
Doesn't that just sound so much? Oh, that's just peaceful and harmony and balance and joy. And from that place, you can take that energy into the rest of your day. And then through the day, I do reset breaks. So after we finished our recordings, I'll go and have a reset break. So before I go into another meeting, or before I go into another task or project, I do a little reset break. And then in the evening, I have a relaxation before bed so that I have a good night's sleep. I do a bit of, I have a little relaxation routine. And then through the week, there's things like making sure that I'm going for a walk, and asking myself each day, how can I infuse my day with joy today? If I've got a task that I really don't want to do, how can I make that more fun? And allow yourself to be playful. What can I do today that's creative? It's just being aware and asking yourself, who can I have a conversation with today? Who do I want to avoid today? All those. So it's being very mindful about how you want your day to be. And if you want, I've got a really lovely little gift, which is the 3 essentials to balance and vibrancy. And it talks a bit more in detail about what those rituals are, those 3 essentials. So the morning ritual, the resets, and the evening ritual, just to give you some ideas. Yeah. So
We definitely want those.
Yeah.
You'll be able to find more details in the show notes,
Yes.
in terms of there. So with the work that you do with clients, is that really, how do you help your clients to discover or rediscover joy?
So we go through what we've sort of talked about today in terms of awareness, and a lot of the time people need somebody else to guide them through that, because we do have so many hidden belief systems and blind spots. So most of my clients that come to me are highly stressed, overwhelmed, drained, and experience a lot of anxiety. And they know that they don't want to do that anymore. They want to feel more balanced and vibrant. They want to be free of those emotions that drag them down and those triggers, and they want to feel, and free up their time, and create more joy and fulfillment. So the first place, I help them really uncover those hidden beliefs and blind spots, and then through awareness, and then we release and transform those beliefs and patterns through retraining the brain, activations, and embodying a different new perspective. So really shining the light on the truth, bringing clients back to their true essence. I have a lot of clients that feel really lost, have lost their zest for life, their vavavoom, and have lost who they are. They don't know who they are anymore. So I bring them back to them, bring them back to their hearts, and help them rediscover who they are at their very core, who they were born to be. And then we look at the possibilities for them in life. What's really possible for them? Like gaining clarity around what they truly want and how they achieve that.
Yeah.
And connection to themselves, connection to others, connection to universal energies. We do some healing if there's past hurts and past trauma. So my goal is to bring my clients the outcome that they want.
It feels really holistic, and there are many different ways that people can develop and grow. And what I'm struck by is there's a very famous spiritual leader, and she's kind of like, be the happiest person, I'll help you be the happiest person you know. And it's like, well, actually, it's a bit of a sugar rush. Kind of, I want the joy that you're describing, Jen. I want joy that lasts and chimes throughout my very core.
Mm.
I don't want to be happy with just happiness.
Yeah, it goes deeper than that, and it goes deeper into being comfortable, not comfortable, but being okay with not being okay. You know, dancing and playing with the ebb and flow of life, and thriving, flourishing, and thriving through life's chaos. You know, amidst the chaos, and creating calm, not being creating resilience around not being triggered by other people. And as we talked about it in another episode about having sovereignty, not coming from a place of victimhood, but feeling empowered and feeling confident and trusting yourself, your intuition, your inner guidance. So it's all of that. It's a lot.
So at the top of the episode, we promised that we would really look at joy and look at what gets in the way. And thank you, Jen. You've given us so many different strategies and approaches and tactics, and some big things, but actually many little changes that any of us can make to our day to day in order to live a more joyful existence. So, Jen, it's a really scrummy episode. I can already think of 3 or 4 different people I'm going to send this to. It's like, be more
definitely, yeah,
joyful.
it is definitely a re-watch and a re-listen and taking notes. But something that I find, if you're struggling in, if you are a woman that purpose-driven, I mostly work with purpose-driven, freedom-seeking women that are spiritually curious. And so you can listen to as many podcasts and read as many books, but what some of us need, if you've been stuck for a while and you're really ready to step up and change, it may be that you need to reach out and book a discovery call with me. There's that, it's completely free. There's no obligation, and you've got nothing to lose. So I highly recommend, if this has resonated with you, if this has you leaning in and you are stuck and you have had enough and you want that joy, that vibrancy, and that balance, to reach out and let's have a chat and see what we can uncover together and discover.
Indeed. And like, comment, share. I'd love to hear how people bring in their own little joyful hacks throughout the day. What works? What have you noticed? Or what doesn't bring you joy? So we can avoid that too.
Yeah, it's helpful to write that down. Write down what doesn't bring you joy or who doesn't bring you joy, and write down what does and who does. That's a good start.
Right now my desk does not bring me joy. So that's my next job. It's like,
creating an inspiring workspace.
Yes, I think that will be my next one.
Yes,
but for now, listeners, sorry, it was unnecessary leap into kind of our everyday. But we are humans after all. For now, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, Jen, for just so many different insights. It's an absolute delight to quiz you and hear all your tricks. I've got to say, it's one of the reasons why I do the podcast with you. I'm like, I don't write that one down.
Thank you.
So for now, thank you all, and we will see you again. Just stay joyful.